It's not a Friday without Chris Egan. Chris Egan joins us for a Friday visit. We love having Chris on. He's the best in the business. All brought to you by our friends there at Fat Zach's Pizza. Fat Zach's Pizza, they got locations down there in the South End, South Hill, Puyallup, Sumner. They got catering trucks. They're gonna cater your birthday parties, your holiday parties, graduation, weddings. They do weddings. Go visit fatzachspizza.com. Chris Egan every single Friday here at Buck Sports. And he's with us right now with his Mariners hat on. And I'm told he's ready to scold me for my opinions on the Mariners. Go ahead, sir. Let me have it.
Puckett, let's start with a couple things. Let's begin with Julio Rodriguez. I've sat back. I was watching the concert Alabama at the Washington State Fair. They're in the middle of Dixieland Delight, and I'm sitting there watching the concert, and all of a sudden I see the Yankees have the Mariners get 2 outs. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. And then that night on social media, everybody going after the Mariners, everybody going after Julio Rodriguez. It's just like every person acts like they play professional baseball out there, and they would have never done this in their life. I've heard so many people coming up to me like, Egan, Lou Piniella would have let Julio know. Lou Piniella would have let Julio know. This sums up the Mariners season. This is what's wrong with this team. Listen to me right now, Mariners Nation. No one, from somebody that's been coaching youth sports for over 2 decades, nearly 3 decades of youth sports coaches, no one practices throwing a bat down third base line and avoiding the bat and then getting back on the bag. It's just bad luck. It happens, and you don't practice this unless you're Patches O'Houlihan, Puckett. Unless you're Patches O'Houlihan and you're practicing dipping, diving, ducking, and getting away from wrenches. No coach has ever practiced this. So just let's drop that play and move on. I couldn't even go to bed that night. I would have never done that. Guess what? 280-pound Mountain Dew Bob, you wouldn't have done that because you wouldn't be playing at T-Mobile Park. No, you wouldn't have been out there, okay? Because you wouldn't have been on the field. I feel like you're
yelling at me. That's what I feel like this is. You're yelling at me.
We're going to get there, Puckett. I'm coming your way, Puckett.
Oh, God,
maybe this is just sitting at the fair for 2 days, enjoying America, listening to Alabama, Thomas Rhett last night, just loving life. And then you just, you know what? It ruined my night jumping on social media. I just should have shut it down and just sat and listened to the concert and had fun. But then we go back, Puck, I think it was 2 weeks ago, on this daily Puck Drop, the number one podcast in America right now. Everybody's talking about it. I heard about it last night. We love Puck. Where's Puck? Is he coming to the concert? But you know what, Puck, and I do love you. Yeah, you and I are very, we see eye to eye on a lot of things. I don't see eye to eye on this next comment, Puck. You told me 2 weeks ago you were rooting against this Mariners team.
Yeah.
Here's my problem, Puck, with this. Why would you be rooting against a team that is only 2 games back for a wild card spot? Because we all know if you get in, you got a chance. And this pitching staff, Puck, if you get in, anything could happen with this pitching staff. And are you kidding me? Like, why wouldn't we want this team to win a World Series? Why wouldn't we want to celebrate in the streets of Seattle? Why wouldn't we want everybody coming together as one to root on this Mariners team? Because you got a bone to pick with the general manager? If that's it, then I'm sorry. You know what? Then you're letting people get into your life, Puck, that shouldn't be there. You know what? Take the negativity, get it out. Let's think positive. Let's think about all the good moments we can have. Root on this Mariners team. Don't let one person get in your way for rooting on this team to victory. I'm going to just say that right now. I'm giving this team everything I got. There's 9 games to go. Why wouldn't I want to take my son to a World Series playoff game? You know what? Because guess what? We don't make it. I don't think it does anything different. Everybody that doesn't want him, he's still going to be back. So there you go.
It's not him. One, that's a wonderful. What you said, what you articulated is perfect. I am very much in the minority on my feelings towards them. But what's happening, and
I don't think you are, Puck, because this is why I'm a little, because I've heard this. I think you're spreading. I think Puck Nation out there is joining because I heard it at the film the last 2 nights. Like, I'm not rooting for this team. And I'm like, why?
Chris, I think you're an abusive. This is what I told Jim. We are in an abusive relationship. And you got to make a choice. You want to stay in that abusive relationship or get out? I've decided I'm getting out right now. I'm getting out. Not to say I'm not going to come back because, usually you come back. I'll come back. I'm getting out right now because this year was not supposed to be about going to the final week of the season to get a wild card spot. This division was gift wrapped to this team. Gift wrapped. The Astros were terrible this year. Injuries everywhere. Decimated pitching staff. Kyle Tucker missed damn near the whole season. And they still chased you down. And you had a 10-game lead. And it was so bad they even took it up to 6 games up on you. Now it's 5. I'm just tired of them. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them constantly every year letting me down. And I can't take it anymore with these guys. It just drives me nuts. Now, when we get into next year and you are going down to spring training and we have you on and you do the same damn shot that gets me every time with the camera on the ground with their cleats hitting the freaking cement, then I'm going to be all in again because it happens every year. But right now, I'm out. I'm out on them.
So, Puck, and I had this conversation with somebody at work that's just exactly like you, and they just don't want to root them on. And I'm like, what if they make the playoffs? And they're like,
then I'll be back on if they make the playoffs because
you're in if you make the playoffs.
We can be hypocrites, right? Sports fans can be hypocrites.
Puck, I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. This reminds me of going to a Puyallup High School game. And my wife and I, we were not married then, are sitting next to another gal. And her boyfriend was a third-string wide receiver for Puyallup High School. But you wouldn't have never known that, Puck, because he didn't play. And she, all of a sudden, the 2 guys in front of him get hurt. This was at Clover Park. And he goes in the game. And sure enough, she takes off her jacket, and she's got his jersey on. And now it's letting everybody know in the stadium that I am the number one fan of this guy. Puck! You've got to be a fan when they're third string, second string, first string. You've got to be a fan when they're 2 out. And you know what? They broke your heart. I get it this year. They've broken a lot of hearts this year. Many people went in thinking, this is the year. Look at this pitching staff. Look at that shot on the Seattle Times of the 5 pitchers that nobody can touch. Well, maybe we should all go back to spring training and think about that one picture right there. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should think about that picture. I had the picture as well, the 5 pitchers. Everybody's like, World Series or bust. Well, maybe we should ask the Mariners, could you please put 5 hitters out on the field for us to take a picture of? Maybe that was our fault back in spring training.
Yeah, I blame you.
Put 5 hitters out there. So maybe were our expectations too high, Puck? I don't know.
Well, I mean, the expectation. Well. Maybe, but these expectations were set forth by them. That's what is so mad. I mean, Chris, it's not even 2 years ago. We haven't even gotten 2 years yet where this team was in a hell of a series, had ended the drought, whatever, 20-plus years. I can't remember how many years it was. 20-plus years of not being in the postseason. You're there. You're celebrating. It's a great series against Toronto. Then they move on and they have a great series, even though they get swept with Houston. It was a phenomenal series. And you thought when the second that series ended, you're like, okay, you know what? They took a step. They're going to take another step next year. They'll be right back in it. They'll make some moves in the offseason. They'll improve this team. They've seen how everybody is fired up about this Mariners team. They're so excited. What did they do in the offseason? Nothing. They didn't do a single goddamn thing to improve the team. Yeah. Okay, then they flame out last year.
I could argue at that end of the Astros series, there was a little concern, honestly, because they didn't put Marco Gonzalez in any of the starting lineups for Toronto or Houston, so you had a little turmoil there. The whole Robbie Ray, meltdown. I think that was like, I don't know how that future looks right now. And then you had Andres Munoz and Matt Brash almost pitching every single day. Thank goodness Munoz has been okay, but obviously we've missed Matt Brash this season.
Yeah, and then you're 100%. But then it goes, so they don't do anything last year. And then I thought when last year ended, well, that's the most disappointing season I can remember being a Mariners fan, because there was so much promise from the previous year. And then they just completely fall apart. And I'm tired of being lied to by them. That's what bothers me about it. Whether it's ownership or this front office, I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of we've got no financial restraints. No, we're going to go out and get anybody. We're going to improve this team. And then they don't do it. And then I'm stuck with Jorge Polanco. I'm stuck with, Colton Wong and Jesse Winker and all these other bums they bring over here. We pay two guys. I love Mitch Haniger, and he's great with the team. You're paying a guy $17, $19 million who doesn't play. He doesn't play at all. And why did you do it? You did it because you wanted to get rid of a contract with Robbie Ray. You don't have Kelnick here anymore because you wanted to get rid of Evan White's contract. You wanted to get rid of Marco. It's just they don't make moves to improve the team. They make moves to save money. And then so that was last year. Then we get in this offseason. All right, well, they're embarrassed what happened in 2023. They need to capture the fans back. And what do they do this offseason? Oh, they shed payroll. I mean, just like I don't know. That's why it's an abusive relationship. We keep coming back.
And Puck, all your points very, very valid, very real. I guess my question is, and I throw this at a lot of people, is everybody keeps throwing, I'm done with them. I'm done with them. I'm done with them. Well, does that, if we look back in these last 75 years of professional sports, has that ever worked with any professional sports team where the fans said, I'm done with them, and all of a sudden, oh, well, the fans are done with us. Let's start getting. I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm being honest and asking that question.
They're done.
Puck.
Maybe we should start spending now. No, because they know, Chris, right? If they hear me or they hear your buddies at the fair, and even the 200-pound guzzling Mountain Dew guy, I don't know why we've got a fat shame and people who like Mountain Dew.
Well, I think his name was Mountain Dew 24. I honestly think he sent me a tweet saying, Egan, get real and take a shot at ownership. Mountain Dew 24.
I'm going to start following Mountain Dew 24 because he seems like someone I can get down with.
Oh, he's part of Puck Nation. Yeah,
he probably is. We're all going to come back. We're all fans of the team. The players, the guys on the field, but it's just every year it's the same song and dance. And what I guess there's part of this that I don't want. I've been saying this for months. I just don't want to see this. And I said this to Divish weeks ago when I said when we kind of buried him, over a month ago. I said, I know what the storyline's going to be. They're going to make a late run. They're going to barely miss the playoffs by a game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to, they haven't done a press conference since they announced DePoto was coming back. They haven't done anything. They're going to trot him up there, and they're going to put Hollander up there. Maybe John Stanton comes up there as well. And they're going to sit there, and they're going to talk. They're going to look in the camera like I'm looking at the camera right now. And they're going to go, we're so close. We're so close. We have a World Series pitching staff. We believe the changes that we made with this organization. We believe the changes we made with Dan Wilson, the addition of Edgar. We feel that you look at how we finished the season, they're going to trot out those offensive numbers, which have been improved. We think a full season of that and a full off season of the teaching techniques from Wilson and Edgar, we're right there. We're on the cusp of it. We're on the cusp of getting into the playoffs, and we've got all this club control pitching, and we just need to make a few tweaks here and there. And I've been, he's going to look down at John. I've been given assurances that, from ownership that we have deep pockets we can spend, and then he's going to end with this. And we've got, I told you a couple of years ago about this wave of young talent coming in. Talked about the pitchers. We've got, part of the plan was once we get them established, there's going to be this second wave coming in. And he's going to sell everyone on the second wave of talent. Colt Emerson and Young and Harry Ford and all these guys, which none of them are ready next year, by the way. Maybe Ford, but the rest aren't. And I just don't want to. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about that.
Puck, you are more than likely probably right that they missed by one game. I have a bad feeling too. But if we were to take our glass and just pour a little bit more in there and we go half full,
Yeah.
we've got the half empty scenario. We go half full. You do have to, as a baseball, somebody that did a post game show, somebody that's followed this team probably harder than anybody over the last 20 years. If for some reason they get in, the baseball mind that you have has to believe that this team actually has a chance to make a run. Correct?
Of course, mathematically, yes. They still have a. Of course, they do. But they're only 2 games back. Well, everyone always says 2 games back, and we need to stop. We need to change the language when we talk about. They're 3 games back. They are 3 games back.
Are they 3 back of the Tigers, Puck? Do we know that?
Yes, they're 3 back of both the Tigers and Twins because they have a tiebreaker. Because both those teams have a tiebreaker. So just say they're 3 back. They're 3 back of the wild card. There's 9 games to go, and they're 5 back of the West. I mean, the West is. Yeah. I mean, Houston would have to lose every game.
Mathematically, we will be listening to scenario A, where we'll be having a post-game GM press conference. They end up 1 game back, but really 2 games back when you do the math. But yeah.
But you are probably the better fan because you know what? You have hope until the very end, and you know what? I wish I was there with you.
But I wonder, Puck, am I to blame for some of this, for not being tougher, asking tougher questions? Honestly, it's just like, I mean, you start thinking and you hear these scenarios, but God, you go into spring training, you look at these, Mitch Garver, man, this guy's destroyed the Mariners over the last, Jorge Polanco. I mean, it's like, now I just feel like anybody we pick up, I got to do a little deeper dive into their what's going on with them because it's been frustrating.
The biggest frustration with this team is not so much the front office, and not to say that the front office isn't to blame for it. My biggest frustration with them is just the ownership group. And I'm just not sold on them. And I never have been. Just not sold on the group. It's it's a broken record. I've said it a million times. People have listened and watched. This is that it's never changed. It's the same group. They just shuffled chairs around. Because Stanton was here with the previous regime. They move stuff around. Larson's always been here, and those are the 2 big guys. And I don't know. I just don't think, like you and me and others that are watching and listening, I don't think they have a burning desire to win. Like just a absolute burning desire to win. I think they say they do, but I don't think it comes across.
Well, we'll move on, but I would say Dipoto, I think, has more burning desire to win than anyone, and wants to just shove it in everybody's face. If this team gets in there, and so we'll see. I think he's a competitor. I think he's in that job because he's a competitor and he fought to get there. So we'll see what happens. So it's gonna be very interesting. But like you said, mathematically 9 games to go, 3 back. Let's be very clear about that. 3 back. It's not looking good. Puck, I got another beef.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
what do you got?
Well, it's the Apple Cup. And
what do you mean? It was the good guys won.
Well, here's my beef, and I want you to listen to it. I had so many people come up. It just wasn't the same. It was just, it was just not right having it at Lumen Field. And then I followed that question up and said, "Were you there?" No, watched it at home on TV. Like, I got to tell you what, Puck, I was there from start to finish. I thought it was a great, they're going to move this thing back to I thought it was a fun atmosphere, to be honest with you.
Great.
Maybe that's the PLU loot in me, that I could sit in the middle of the fence and you got, the crimson and gray on one side and the purple on the other, and I could just kind of go back and forth and enjoy it. But I thought it was a fantastic environment. I give a lot of credit to Coach Dickert. I have not done a ton with him just because we don't go to Pullman a lot, but listening to his press conferences during the week, his post game, I've become a fan of him. I thought that I've seen a lot of things up close, but watching that final defensive stance, being right there as the Cougs kept them out of the end zone, not once. A lot of people will point, Puck, to that 4th down play, but you've got the 3rd down play, Denzel Boston taking it to the right side off the short pass. I mean, he's a yard from getting in there. The pass across the end zone, that's just knocked down at the last second. I mean, it was a phenomenal Apple Cup. Congrats to your Cougs. You know what? And I know it's one game at a time in Pullman, but this team, when you start looking at that schedule, could be a fun year in Pullman to be a Coug fan.
You had the great video of it. You were right there for the play, but Kyle Thornton. They had the whole cell phone out. I watched that nonstop. It was beautiful.
I wish we could play the whole interview. Was Kyle Thornton after the game? I got right with him and his family, and his dad was so excited he almost started hyperventilating during the interview because the dad and mom are just like, wow. I thought Dad was going to pass out on the field.
I thought I was going to pass out. My watch during that game, I was showing it was like 100. My heart was like 140. I'm like, that's not good. That's bad.
And that's what I love about the Apple Cup. I love the fact that the Lumen Field security, whether they did it on purpose or not, let the fans onto the field. That felt like, a game at Martin Stadium or Husky Stadium.
Well, once the big Tubbo got tackled by the security guard, the first one on the field, that dude,
everybody was through.
I think they said, hey, once the wildebeest went through, they said, let them all in.
And this is also what I love, Puck. I was there with a photographer that's never done the Apple Cup. I've never done big games, and they get the trophy, and everybody's running in there, and I grab them. I go, no. We don't go in there. Stay on the outside of this.
Yeah, you don't need to be in there.
Let the students have their fun in there. Once you go in there, you're trapped in there. And I saw a rookie reporter from another station in town that went in there and didn't turn out well.
Never and has been missing. There's been missing posters all across Seattle. They don't know where he or she is.
We didn't see a lot of their post game report on TV either. So. But
it was a madhouse.
Yeah. It was a fun environment. I know you've had this conversation. People say it's no longer the Apple Cup, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It felt like an Apple Cup to me. I thought the crowd was into it. Cougar Nation. I was at an event last night before the concert. I went with a Cougar alumni. We pumped, and there's Cougar pride out there. And you know what? They've been beaming all week long. And Puck, you wouldn't be beaming like that all week long with a win over Portland State or a win over Boise State. It's something about beating your rival in state. So in my mind, that rival still means something. And Cougar fans showed it this week, just the way they reacted.
It was, and again, this is why, I think it's okay to always just be hypocritical as a sports fan. I went into it, going back to last year, I didn't want the game to be played. That was my emotional knee-jerk reaction to it. Didn't want it to be played, felt scorned, left behind, all of those emotions. And so I wanted to take it out of no one. They want to leave us. They want to go off and kill this conference, then we'll kill the rivalry. And as the weeks, months went by, I slowly changed my opinion. Then we were getting closer to the start of college football season, changed even more. And I'll tell you where it finally just moved in, because I wasn't going to go to the game initially, but my kids were on me constantly. Like, we've got to go to the game. We've got to go to the game. We've got to go to the game. And so we didn't even get there till halftime. My son had a football game. I've talked about this before. We scalp tickets. We get down there, so we enter at halftime. And I just think the second I walked in there and I just saw my heart rate go from 68 to 130, everything was right in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the most the rivalry games, doesn't matter what it is the biggest emotional roller coaster that we have. It keeps you alive. It really does, because it's just a sporting event, Chris. That's all it is. But God, does it feel like life and death when you're sitting in that arena for 3+ hours. And
Puckett, it is a sporting event. It is not life and death. But after that game, I don't know how many Coug people came up and are just randomly hugging me. You were the greatest in the world. I mean, it was just to see the joy on that field. And then, then you see the other side of it, the purple and gold leaving that stadium. As pissed off as they've ever been in a while, just not happy. Why did we run that play? I haven't heard so much anger for a coach's decision, honestly, probably since that Super Bowl, Puck. It's been a while since we've seen so much people going after a coach.
And here's the thing. That call, and I'm going to be real, I think honestly, objectively speaking here, be really curious to see where Jedd Fisch goes here. Because there's a chance that play call defines his career as the head coach of the school. It really does.
Honestly, that whole series, it's just like looking back at that, it just, that's definitely going to go down as one of the best stands in Cougar history and one of the worst offensive goal lines, for the UW in their
Yeah.
history as well. So,
Yeah, I know you've been at the fair forever.
yeah.
It's been just fair central for you. And I think it was on last week's show we talked about people that go to the fair that apparently, even though because it's the fair, they feel like they've got to dress up as cowboys, even though they're not cowboys.
Sure.
You can do it at a trot.
What the hell,
You
Egan?
can do it at a gallop.
Yep.
You can do it real fast. So
Well,
heart don't palate take.
maybe.
Did you go to the Western store before you went to the fair to get all of this?
Let's just
The hat, the boots, the
everybody
jeans.
listening and watching.
Unbelievable.
That's what happens when you have 3 margaritas. Is you end up. That's what happens. You end up at 1 a.m. with a cowboy hat on and a pink guitar, and you start singing, and your lovely wife videotapes it, and that's what happens. So,
but I want to know about the
what?
outfit. I mean, how many times do you wear the cowboy outfit?
Not a lot. Here's the problem: is I've gone to a couple, Alabama and Thomas Rhett, and I literally had on like a polo, like a Nike polo, and my wife's like, "We're not golfing. We're going to a country concert." So I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna. I don't live on a ranch, honey." And she's like, "Well, you need to at least dress like you're going to a country concert."
Yeah.
So yeah. So there you go. I just wanted to honestly wear a black T-shirt and jeans, but we were going to a dinner before where they needed a colored shirt on, so that's why.
You look real fancy down there in the South End, huh? Where'd you go to dinner, huh?
Well, it's I got invited with the Fair Board, so they have a dinner up top before the concert. So the Fair Board members, bring in guests.
The Fair Board. I thought that was the last name. So the board members of the fair have like a fancy dinner on top of what the mutton busting spot.
Yes, up there, so you can look down. Have a few cocktails, and then you head down and sit in your seats and watch the concert.
Do they just take the heifers from the 4-H and then do we just pick them out? I will have that one tonight.
I can't make this up. So during the board member dinner, they go around and the president has people talk. He had me say something. Then he had one member stand up and says, "Can you give us an update from the barns?" And I'm like, what are we talking about? And he literally said, "Well, we haven't had many pregnancies the last 2 days, but, the cows may be a little stressed with so many people." But it was literally an update on how many babies were born.
So good.
Yeah, welcome. Well, and it wraps up Sunday with the Steve Miller Band.
Oh, it's always Steve Miller. How many years in a row has Steve Miller played there?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the lead singer of Alabama.
Yeah.
It was like he wanted to move, Puck, but I don't think he could move. He was just
Well, it's been many years for Alabama, right?
I mean, they've got a lot of hits though. Alabama's got a lot. Yeah. So.
Hey, real quick before we get to the big game of the week, where you're going to be at tonight, you got a new. Well, not technically, but in a way, yes. You got a new coworker at King 5 and Kong.
Ariel Orzuto.
No, that's not what I was getting at.
Ian Furness.
Yes, I mean, is
the mayor of Maple Valley?
Is King 5 big enough for the two massive egos that are Egan and Furness?
It's interesting. I want to just the first week, Puck. I want to let Ian enjoy this and savor in and celebrate this because he's going to be doing the Kraken games. I'm happy for him. Week 2, I'm going to dig back into the archives and find all the times that he's taken shots at King 5.
Where he's railed on King 5 and
where he went after us Puck, for having the big game rally at Mount Tahoma High School. The boys got up too early and they couldn't play that night. I'm like, I said, Ian, we've done this like 14 other schools and they did just fine.
All of a sudden,
we're happy for him. It's exciting times. The mayor of Maple Valley, is going to do great work. I know he's pumped up. And Linda Cohn, I mean, another.
Come on.
legend. I mean, it's going to be quite. They're going to do a good job. I know, and I know King 5 is we've hired a producer for the Kraken, a video editor for the Kraken, so they're going all in. So it's going to be that. It's going to be busy time though, Puck. I mean, we're getting there where it's Sounders are in the playoffs, Seahawks are in full swing, 2-0. You know, Cougs, Huskies, college basketball's coming up soon. So
you do? Will you do anything with the Kraken or not? Just your normal King 5 stuff.
I'll go on and do like a feature every week. So I'll go over there and do once a week. I'll feature a player. They'll have that on the show. We'll put that on King 5 TV. But, I know Ian and Sylvie. They're kind of the hockey experts. And then Winter Olympics. You know, it's not next winter, but the following winter. There'll be a lot of ties to that through the Kraken organization too. So
where are you guys at tonight? Where's King 5 sending you tonight for the old King 5 big game of the week?
Well, first off, a shout out to last week. We had Lake Stevens versus Bellevue. I think Bellevue's the team to beat. That was the defending state champs in 4A and 3A. But Lake Stevens, you can't give enough credit to this school district, the high school. I mean, the Puck, you were there up with me last year. It was once again phenomenal. The place is packed to the rafters. It's an incredible job they do bringing school spirit together. Tonight we're at another place that does an awesome job. Suzanne Vick is the athletic director at Curtis High School. They're 2-0. A lot of talent on this team. They're saying this could be one of the best Curtis teams we've seen since Torrey Hunter, Signor Mobley, back in the late 80s and 90s. And they'll be taking on a 2-0 team, the Lakes Lancers. And Dave Miller is the coach of this team, and he has been coaching there, I think, since 1979.
He was the coach when I was in high school at Kent Ridge. He's been there forever. And then I see pictures of him, Chris. He hasn't aged.
I don't get it. Age. He says he has a turkey sandwich every day, and but I'm like, how? I mean, his hair is still the same as it looked in the 80s. His face hasn't changed.
Nothing.
I don't get. Yeah. I mean, he's the Mario Lopez of high school football coaches. He doesn't age. He's the I mean, he looks great.
It's him. It's the late great Steve Poole and Mario Lopez. Never aged.
Yeah.
Never aged.
They never age at all. And you know what? He's done a fantastic job. He's had a lot of kids at Lakes that come in and out. With McCord Joint Base, Fort Lewis Air Force Base, he gets a lot of kids. That coming in and out with military families, and he's just done a phenomenal job. I know Lakes has only won one state title when you look back, but he has that team in the running every single year.
All the time.
To have a consistent program like that. So it's going to be a fun one tonight. We were up north last week. We're going to go over to University Place tonight.
Right.
Maybe we'll hit Chambers Bay before we begin our live shots, and then
just squeeze in a whiskey 9.
Squeeze in a whiskey 9 in Chambers Bay.
Okay.
And then head on over to the game. So yeah, I mean, I'm pumped up. Always fun.
Where we should get some recommendations. Where are you going to eat tonight? So you'll be in the. Pardon me. Is it at Curtis or at Lakes? You're in University Place tonight?
At Curtis, University Place.
Okay.
There is a burger joint that I've never been to.
A burger joint you've never been to. We need some recommendations for Chris on the chat.
Yeah.
Burger place, food spots in University Place. But the only place I know in University Place, because I go there, it's summer in UP, is I go to the Beach Tavern. We just go to the Beach Tavern, get a shot and a burger.
I'm going to be honest with you, Puck. I feel like after 3 days in a row at the fair, I need to get my stomach pumped and need to have like just a lettuce wrap of some sort.
Well, those margaritas will do it to you. Jeez. Those skinny margaritas really take it out on a man.
Oh, man.
All right, Curtis and Lakes, what time does the live coverage start tonight on King 5?
We got 5:45.
Right.
6:45 we'll be with the students, and then we'll have game action tonight at 9, 10, and 11. And then tomorrow night I'll be on King 5, and then Sunday night another night on King 5. And busy week ahead. So
someone is saying, hold on.
They got some spots for it?
Yeah, Lefty's Burger Shack.
That's the one.
Lefty's Burger Shack.
I've never been there.
Yeah, in University Place. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah.
Because otherwise, when this is my wife, literally, any chance you can stop off at Trader Joe's? I'm like, I'm not grocery shopping before the big game, honey.
Any chance you can? I made a list for you. I've got to work. Oh Lord, they just don't. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it.
Oh, like
They
I've
don't
just
get
got
it.
time to go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
And sorry I missed the live shot. Trader
Sorry.
Joe's was pretty backed up.
Joyce, sorry we got late here. And Greg, so I was at Trader Joe's getting mixed nuts and a charcuterie board for Mel Egan. Back to you, Greg.
Puckett, if you ever want to see an advertisement for Lululemon, just go to Trader Joe's. It's like every woman that comes in there just got out of yoga class.
Well, that's and sometimes it's a good thing, and then sometimes it's a bad thing.
Sure, yeah. And sometimes, yeah.
You're the best.
I'll stop.
Yeah, just stop there. You don't want to get in trouble. Stop there. All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend. You're the best. Love you to death. We'll talk to you next week.
Peace.